All right, everyone, welcome back to Street City Studio. I'm John, and today we're going to play with some toys, all right? I don't think anybody's too surprised by that, but that's what I am, right? I'm just a guy playing with my toys here. But what I did want, I wanted to do something special today. We got a viewer request off of Facebook to do a juggernaut versus some dinosaurs. And I thought that was really neat and really fun. And I think I started overthinking it too much because I got lost and I don't know where this is going to go, right? And I think I've said that in a few videos here, right? I just kind of start the camera up and we'll catch whatever we catch, right? But I've got a couple juggernauts here. He's got some sand still on his foot or something. Yeah, right there. All right. So, I have several juggernauts, right? If you guys follow the channel, you know I'm definitely a juggernaut fan, and I don't want to say again. I mean, if you guys follow, you know I'm not a completionist. I don't chase every single variant. I don't have every single juggernaut that you might be able to squeeze into the scale, but I definitely chased the ones that I really felt like I needed, the ones I felt like I wanted. It has to have the right look and it has to have the right helmet, because a lot of them have goofy looking helmets, right? They could work in my scale if it weren't for the helmet. But another feature is it needs a removable helmet. Usually I prefer that, right? This figure gets away with it, but I do have the unmasked version, right? And I think this one, no, I have one, I popped the helmet off, but this is the one that never got the helmet popped off, so this one's still intact. But I'll be danged if I could never get these little armbands to stay. I never understood that. I don't know if it's just because they used a certain kind of plastic that's not very elastic, or they didn't size it quite right. It's one of the two, right? But those things just always pop down like that, and I hate it. It drives me crazy on both of these guys. But the reason we're talking about which juggernaut I would use for today, right, is because usually I like to use this one here just for the scale. Because these ones, if you can see, they're the shortest juggernauts I have. And even, we'll get me back in here, you can see. Right? And we've talked about it at least once or twice before, I'm sure. There's some of the earlier videos, or even as recent as 2 weeks ago, maybe. I can't remember exactly, but you can tell, right? These juggernauts are maybe 6.5 feet tall, if you consider a scale, right? And me, I'm a short guy, so that would make them even shorter. That would make them like 5'8", 5'9", you know? So, ideally, a juggernaut in my scale needs some height, and I would love it if he was right around here, or even just a little bigger, right? Just a little bigger. This is a little too big, maybe, but I really like this design. I like the style. I was a big fan of the cartoon, right? The X-Men Evolutions cartoon, and I think it's the best I've got, right? And it works when you need a very massive juggernaut in the background, right? And that's like right here, you know, like that. I can't remember who did the art or anything. I'm terrible at that, but that poster that you see everywhere, and Juggernaut is just like massive in it, right? That Marvel poster with all the heroes and villains, and Juggernaut just looks massive. This Juggernaut doesn't cut it for that, right? Anytime you see the massive Juggernauts, right? And I understand some preferences, and some artists and some fans prefer, you know, something a little more realistic, 7 foot tall or whatever, and that works sometimes for them. But usually I try to use the bigger ones. But what we're going to do today, right, I was really struggling. I think I was trying to find an excuse to use one of these bigger ones. But ultimately, I think, let's get to the fan request was, more specifically, juggernaut versus some dinosaurs. And I thought that was really cool. And I thought, yeah, let's do that. But being someone else's thought, I don't know that, I think I struggled with trying to turn that into my own thing, I guess. How do I translate that? I didn't think about it. I didn't think of it. Normally that stuff kind of comes naturally, I guess, and it just comes out. And so I don't know exactly what this is supposed to look like in the end, right? Normally I'll just kind of know that. Normally I'll just kind of know that already because I came to that naturally. But I kind of like the idea of playing around with somebody else's idea. But I guess maybe it feels a little more forced. But all I'm saying here is that I don't know where this is going. That's all I'm really trying to say. Right? And so, I got some junk over here. Pull back a little bit and reframe so that we can get as much of these big guys as possible, right? But I wanted to finish explaining too, right? I think I left off without explaining. With the dinosaur being Juggernaut's opponent, right? I was still trying real hard to find or excuse the use of one of my preferred juggernauts, right? And I'm like, I want to do this, but no, the reason being I can't and won't, right? And I know they're showing up, and so I'm squeezing them in anyways in this way, right? But I mean, that's what we do here, right? It's not outside of the realm of what we do here, right? But the reason being is that these juggernauts just kind of look too big against the T-Rex, right? They make the T-Rex look small, right? And that's kind of, I don't like that once I'm looking at it and thinking about it. And so I was frustrating myself going back and forth before making this video, I think. Right? Because if I'm scaling the juggernaut versus normal people, average-sized people, or even other muscular people even, it doesn't have to be, right? Who can I use here as a good example? Hercules. Right? Hercules is a good example, right? We've talked about it probably more times than I can count now, maybe. But, right, even against a bigger, buffer guy, right? Just depends on what you're going for, right? And I'm trying to show the massiveness of this T-Rex. Just accentuate how big it is, I guess, not make it look smaller, right? And so there shouldn't be no wonder that I did want to use the X-Men Evolution Juggernaut, and that I think that was what I wanted to do, but we're not gonna, just for those reasons, really. Right? And so now, on the same note, I don't know how exactly to get him in here dynamically, because it is a tight fit for him. Oh, and there goes my light, because his tail whacked it off. Fix that. Right, and so I gotta get his tail out of the way here. Curl it a little bit. Try and maximize my space. Get this this shifted, so I get that reset, right? But I think I'm just gonna have him like right in front, and to have this punch action, if I can get these bands to stay too. I really prefer that while they're for the photo, for the video. I know you for some of the video I don't mind it, right? While we're talking and stuff, but once I'm trying to get them set in place, I want everything there, right? Yeah. So I'm getting a lot of shadows I don't want over here. Maybe I can play with this lighting a bit. And I'm holding it, and he's out of frame over here, right? Even if I pulled way over, I suppose I can. That does help, right? But it doesn't fix it exactly. So I gotta shift this dinosaur. Yeah, I kind of like that. Let me put this light down so I can get both hands back in here, and I'll pick it back up in a second. All right? But I kind of want his punch higher. I want him aiming higher. And I want to twist this dinosaur's head a bit. Oh, there goes his armband again. All right? I thought about doing some other things, like bringing in that kinetic sand and stuff. But I think, again, I was struggling with how far to go, where to go, and I don't like that. That doesn't look right. Let's twist it more. Let me see if I can do that, right? Put his top head down a bit. There. Yeah. Close his mouth without closing the bottom. Close the top part. Instead, try and get him shifted out a bit. I might have to move my camera again. Yeah, because we keep pushing this way because his tail's all jamming everything up back that way. Right? But we can. It's not impossible, right? But we're losing some stuff. We're losing the top. There we go. Something like that would be good. But it's, if you see up here, you want his head inside the framing of the backdrop, right? And so we can pull back, and that's probably my best bet, right? It's just to put more distance, even though I want to be up close and get those high details, that sharp focus, right? Just to achieve what I'm trying to achieve here, I have to do it, right? And we'll see what the results are, right? Now I can still tell you, right? I'm getting real shaky here, but we're gonna have to crop out a good chunk of that dinosaur, almost no matter where we go, right? And even if we don't crop out the dinosaur, something's gonna get lost. I'll have to put, ooh, there we go, put him up front or something, and then you don't get to look at his expression or anything, right? And that kind of helps set the tone and stuff, so you don't want to do that if you can help it, unless the dinosaur is the focus, right? But I kind of want this punch to be the focus, I guess. Right? And now another issue with doing it like this, right? Backing out here, we're going to have to crop squarely, right? So you're going to lose anything below that line, right? So I started asking myself, well, is that a worthwhile picture? Is that still, right? Well, let's see. Let's zoom in and see what it looks like, right? As that photo, right? Somewhere right in there, right? But I haven't played with the light because I'm hands-on over here still. But Let's get that back in there and you see what I'm saying. I can play with that light. It's a little bright too. But somewhere in there, that's pretty neat. Twisting that dyno's head helped. I kind of want to twist it some more if I can, because this thing is pretty articulated. Let me see if I can get any more of this rotation out of them. A little bit, but not a lot. Just a little bit. Alright, so let me zoom back out here some. Fix this light some. There we go. That's a little bright. Let me see. There we go. Yeah, that's pretty good. I kind of like that a lot. That's going to crop up good. You know, while we're at it, that didn't take very long. Let me see here. We're going to mimic this pose, right, on the other juggernauts. Let's see if we can't drop them into. Right. We'll get alternates and variant shots. Right. Slightly darker costume, slightly darker reds, and no helmet. Again, in there, like right about there. I could probably turn his head more too. Fix his light. And let's see. Yeah, I'm digging that. That's pretty good. I think the angle's wrong a little bit. Squat is off or something. Well, that's pretty good. Oh, it's his elbow. I see. That's the biggest problem for me. His elbow looks in, I guess. There we go. Yeah, how's that? Yeah, there we go. Fix this light again. We got unmasked juggernaut whopping him one. Now, I'm not going to use this old Toy Biz one here. Let's get him out of here. I kind of want to, but he's not posable enough, and especially because he doesn't even have a fist on that hand. So I would have to alternate and rotate for the other hand punch. But likewise, I don't know that I can get this juggernaut doing the exact same punch, right? But let's try and get this one in here a little bit and see if he can't do something. Maybe you can get him in a headlock or something, like he's about to. No, he just looks like he's petting him. I see it already. He just looks like he's petting him. Like, oh, good boy. Oh, good boy. That's a good dino. No, that ain't good. Yeah, he's not posable enough. Like I said, he's just good for scale. But we still got the masked and unmasked versions, right? That worked. That worked pretty good, I thought. That scale is too much, though. He makes it look like... I think the scale's part of what makes it look like he's a pet to him, right? He could almost be his horse or something. Like a mount. I suppose he could be a mount for anything. I've used him as a mount for the Mandalorian. Because I didn't have none of them. Oh, what are those things called? I can't remember right now. Who cares? You know what I'm saying. Some of you. Maybe. Most of you. I don't know. But he could, couldn't he? He could, like, even the smaller ones could ride it. Instead of a horse. It's a dinosaur, though. This juggernaut makes it look like something small, like a horse. We're just goofing off now. I did like this, though. I like this one a lot. This is a great suggestion. That's why we're doing it. Another thing, you know, since we talked a little bit about it already, another thing I was struggling with was what environment would they find themselves in, you know? And I automatically thought the savage land, right? But then that leaves me, well, I've got several options. I've got sand, I've got a forest, I've got snow, right, for Hoth. And so it occurred to me, you know, any of those could be stand-ins for the savage land, so it didn't really help me to decide which backdrop to try and use or which environment to try and put them in, right? And so it didn't matter, did it? I didn't think it did, so I just left what was here from the last video, and it worked out fine. I thought maybe we would swap them out and see if I didn't like it. But it's hard not to like these backdrops. I'm gonna give a big shout out, right? These are from the Cardboard Galaxy. I'm a big fan of these. See them in almost every video. Anytime I can squeeze them in. Either I'm using my 3D printed pieces or some of the paper backdrops that came with dinosaurs, right? But I'm a big fan of anytime the toy comes with a backdrop with a little scenery. I like that. Especially if you can use it like an insert. Sometimes they come printed on the box or something in a way that you would like to use it, right? But the window or glue or holes for twisty ties or something ruins it, right? So it's real nice to have something like this, these backdrops here. Because if you haven't watched all my videos, I have a good handful of them. I've got several Forest Moon of Endor options. I've got several Tatooine desert options, some Hoth, and some Rebel moon hangar bays. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting any. But this wasn't really meant as a toy commercial or anything for Cardboard Galaxy, but I am a big fan. I like these things. It's better than just having this back here. Because I have other options. You guys, if you follow, you know, I do some videos with just black and just white, just blue, right? But it's definitely nice to feel like a studio, right? Like a studio lot, or get some filming done in here, right? Whatever you need done, whatever kind of scene you need. that light back on there one more time. Try and get it lined up here so that it crops good. Yeah, like that. I just want the dyno's head in there a little better, and that would be perfect. Hold on 1 second. Whoa, my sleeves keep slipping down. Right, there we go. I'll just crop his tail and stuff out later, right? Get his hand a little more visible, maybe. Boom. There we go. And actually, I could turn his head a little more too now that I'm playing with it and looking at it and moving him around. Right, he can look that way a little better. Let's see. There we go. Turn it back. Oh, that's too warm. Well, maybe the warm's good. Let's see. No, it's good. Let's go back to cold and go brighter. No, it is really fun though. But I think that's about a wrap, I think. Got some good angles and some good lighting. We'll go look at it and see what we got. That should be good. As always, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me. I appreciate you watching me play with my toys. If you want to check me out on Facebook, go ahead and follow me on Facebook. John Wayna. That's Wayna. If you want to check out my photography, over on Instagram, it's Street City Toys, not Street City Studio, but Street City Toys on Instagram, and John Wayna on Facebook. The links will be in the description. If you don't even have to remember it. Don't worry about it, right? You can just go down there and click on it. But I appreciate you guys coming by. You guys have a good week. Have a good day. Keep playing with them toys, and I'll talk to you again real soon.